So the next one is the Forsaken service. To get the pure source energy from Lucifer and the dark energy for healing. And the price is $10,000, soon to go up to $20,000 on July the 3rd. So, let's be honest, if you want your Forsaken service, you better put your money up front this month or pay double. And as a special dispensation, because I'm the kindest person on the planet, you can put 20% down and then pay it off within a year to get the service, which applies to all the services which are at the old prices, but which will go up to the proper prices come July the 3rd. Now the Forsaken service is simply put raising your assemblage point, which is this. So the assemblage point is over the right shoulder blade, so we raise it to the penultimate grail state where it sits, where the parasite lives, on your 8th chakra. And the Forsaken service eats alive the parasite and gets you to be a parasite vampire, where you feed off every parasite and all the upline of the parasites, the old mud shadows, not only on the planet but across the universe, multiverse, megaverse, to steal the loosh they stole from their parasitized prey, which are across the universe, multiverse, and megaverse, to download into your assemblage point, which is now vampiric. And remember, the assemblage point is simply the loosh collection point. And as you get more and more loosh, the loosh empowered assemblage point descends into the center where it unmanifests you. So from the
beams of light particles called photons at a screen with two slits, you'd expect to see two strips to correspond with the two slits. Instead, we see a pattern of light and dark bands. This suggests that light behaves like waves that pass through both slits simultaneously, interfering with each other to create the pattern on the second screen. However, when scientists used a measuring device to observe the slit that each photon passed through, the interference pattern disappeared and two strips appeared. The act of observing which slit it went through changed the behavior of the photons. No one knows why observing a particle causes its behavior to change.
So, one interpretation of this experiment is that we live in a solitonic manifestation. Soliton, basically think of a rubber sheet with two sides, and that reality can't exist as a single reality. It has to exist as a top and a bottom, which links up with the Kabbalistic tree, which is the front face, and the back face, which is Universe B, the tunnels of Set. Now, in this, the Forsaken, we've exchanged the backside of reality with the Wheel of Time reality, which was incepted by yours truly, stolen by Morton Janklow, the agent I sent the first manuscript to, that gave it to Robert Jordan, and all of the Amazon and everyone that's ever seen it has accepted the Faustian bargain, where they suffer eternally in my Omega hell to power me, because of course they stole from me. Now this means that in the universe B, we create a whole universe, multiverse and megaverse created from the eternally tortured, Abaddon-caged Bezos, Lawrence Sanchez, Morton Janklow, Robert Jordan, all the Mormons via the author he got to finish off the last two books when I ganked him, Brandon Sanderson, and everyone that's ever made a profit or ever subscribed to Amazon. Now their eternally tortured souls produce loosh from their eternal torture that can be used not to make the quantum information real as before, but the noospheric information which comes from imaginary space. Think of the imagination, think of your daydreams, think of your book or books stolen by Morton Janklow, Robert Jordan, Bezos, etc., Brandon Sanderson, the Mormons, and everyone that's ever profited or subscribed to Amazon, accepting a Faustian bargain where they have to accept eternal torture to source level that never ends to produce loosh, the light, the Higgs field, whatever you want to call it, not to make quantum information real, but to make imaginary information real. That, of course, is the stuff of fantasy, the Marvel books, films, DC, etc., etc. So we have now produced not quantum information, but imaginary quantum information, which we made real via this process. And in this we've got everything in the Wheel of Time made real as the backside universe B. And when you buy this service, you simply feed off the dead, tormented souls, which we described previously, which feed into your assemblage point on top of your energy body. That's fed off the mud shadows to cleanse you of all parasitization, and you put all the mud shadows into and to become the Abaddonized vermin that are being delooshed for you. And when you move the assemblage point into the center to unmanifest your energy body and then pop it back up to the top, you don't wake up in universe A, which is the world you were in before, but you wake up in universe B, which is now the imaginary quantum information made real by all of the loosh coming out of the Omega Helized Brandon Sanderson, Morton Janklow, Robert Jordan, Bezos, Lawrence Sanchez, everyone that's profited from the property, blah, 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 and all the Amazon subscribers, to make you wake up in a world where everything in the Wheel of Time is available to you, and you can use it as one of the Forsaken. So everything in the Wheel of Time then becomes available to the Forsaken, all the powers and potentials, and the loosh, the light, the Higgs field, whatever you want to call it, to make the imaginary quantum information real, is provided by the increased torture of everything that has signed the Faustian bargain, which has been described before. And with this, you can then do the old Morgidian grey man to make anyone a grey man, so that they are dumped into Omega Helization to produce more loosh for you, and they're shelled so that throughout life they're simply your shelled control mechanism, something you totally and utterly control. So we're entering a whole new phase of civilization. So at the moment he's got a soul, but the soul's going to be extracted, stuck into his Abaddon cage for eternal torture, because the only purpose of souls is to be eternally tortured, to provide louche for the God Emperor and his Forsaken. And of course the kings and queens of Edom, I will explain the difference. They're the angels, and the Forsaken are the new demons, archdemons. But let's look at the louche extraction and his downloading into his Omega Hell Abaddon cage, and the installation of the slaveware to make the billionaire and all the billionaire family members totally controlled by the Forsaken across the planet. So every billionaire, you're going to be grey manned, and every one of your family members grey manned. So you're in your Abaddon cage providing louche for us, and you're all totally controlled, billionaires and family, to be totally controlled by the God Emperor and his Forsaken. A really wonderful fate. So let's be honest, become a billionaire soon, so you can be grey manned.
Light or dark, something grey. Do you want to be grey, Triton? Triton? Wait, that's your fault. I'm freezing.
So when you've got the Forsaken service, you visualise your assemblage point on top of your head, where you're in the world you are now of quantum information. You then visualise it moving into the centre, where you're putting louche into Universe B, which has been created by the Faustian bargain of Robert Jordan, Morton Janklow, Lauren Sanchez, Bezos, and all the Amazon and everyone who's ever benefited or ever actually seen the Wheel of Time, or even seen it out there on the screen. They've all agreed to the contract. And then the imaginary quantum information from the noosphere makes the Wheel of Time not Universe B for you, but Universe A, and it pops up to the top of your head, and you then get the powers and potentials to use in the former Universe A, which is now being Universe B, which is explained by the double slit experiment, where instead of living in the front side of the solitonic sheet, you live in the back side, which now become the front side, and the light Higgs field louche to manifest the imaginary quantum information, which has now become reality, comes from the Abaddonization of everyone and their dog that has been touched by Amazon and Morton Janklow, Robert Jordan, and Brandon Sanderson, which includes all the Mormons, thank you, and of course all of the tribe of Robert Jordan and Morton Janklow, thank you. And now you can then go after all the billionaires to grey man them with, of course, all of their family members. Go after them. Let's grey man the, because the only good billionaire child is a grey man child. If it's good enough for Epstein, it's good enough for us. So let's continue.
Want to be grey, Triton?
And if you wondered how to do that, you simply step into this video provided by Bezos, the thief, to wake up twice and be able to get the app. And of course you've got the Sal Lauren Sanchez, who can step through and then step into Moghedien. So you use the eternally tortured Lauren Sanchez in Omega Hell to empower you to become Moghedien, to be able to grey man. So thank you, Lauren Sanchez. You must have some use, because you're not a looker. Would you give Lauren Sanchez $50 for a bomb? I don't think so.
Be great, Shite.
I want a refund. Here's the loosh being extracted. You must have wondered what that was. That's all the wonderful loosh coming out of the grey man. So let's be honest, let's go after Bill Gates' daughter, which he likes. Melinda Gates last, as you know, she makes Lauren Sanchez look beautiful. So you see now it's shelled, it's in the Clipothic tree, the realm of shells, which has got Universe B, which is the realm of Amalek and the kings and queens of Edom. So the kings and queens of Edom are the Clipothic tree, and the Forsaken are in the top tree. You might think, well, the Forsaken are the archdemons and demons, but the Clipothic tree is the realm of demons and archdemons. Yeah, it's reversed. So the backside of the top tree is the Forsaken, where the archdemons and demons that have been totally sourced reside, and the Clipothic tree, where the archdemons, demons reside, once sourced, gets reversed, so the kings and queens of demons become the kings and queens of Edom by shelling demons and archdemons and entering their vessels. It's a bit of a mindfuck, but let's be honest, it's fun because we're not being fucked, they're being fucked. So, remember this, the only good billionaire and his family are grey man.
I have someone I need you to find.
So once you grey man them, they're totally under your control, so every billionaire and their family are totally controlled by you, Forsaken. So who cares that they think they've got the money when they're simply slaveware of the Psi Lords, Forsaken lieutenants. Service is the football, aka soccer vampire service, where football is the world religion of the world. So feeding off the loosh released by the fans is the ultimate fix for you vampires. So the football, aka soccer vampire service, price $600, is a bargain. I think we need to treble that price, don't you think, cameraman? I tell you what, these bastards are getting it cheap. But nevertheless, with this service, all of the energy given off by the fans comes to you, which is the world religion, so it's a must-have. If you haven't got the football, aka soccer vampire service, you are putting yourself on a diet of delooshing. You've got to have more loosh. The more loosh, the better. If it's good for insectiles that feed off the dying, the reptiloids that eat the humans, and the greys that try and hack the DNA of the human race so they can suck dry the human race via their hybrids, you are not in the game. And the world religion football is for you. So here we see Arsenal that I built up to produce Louche for me, losing Champions League to the French. I got Man City, who I'd been making win every single thing. They were up 4. The Premier, FA and Champions League, lose everything, because remember I told you on previous videos that I always build up football teams to then destroy them, to suck dry and overanalyze their fans, as I did with Leicester, that miraculously won the Premier League and now are in the Champions League, and Man City, who I was going to fully, because let's be honest, if you're a farmer, you fatten up the sheep, cows, before you slaughter them, don't you? So you've got to be uploading lots of louche from planetary worship of football, and Man City now had a devastating season where I destroyed Man City as the premier team on the planet. Arsenal, who I despise, was allowed to win the Premier League, so they could then be deloused totally by losing the Champions League to the French. Oh my goodness. Remember, Arsenal's named after the Arsenal to fight the French in the Napoleonic Wars. So as you can see, it's been an abundance of energy for yours truly. We've got Man City. We've got Man City beating Chelsea, so that we're in the process of delouching Man City. But even so, they won the FA Cup. But since they were in for Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League, and only won the FA Cup, we haven't yet totally deloushed Man City, but a huge amount of louche has come out